Go flat tracker. Go flat tracker. Go, go, go. Go flat tracker. Go flat tracker. Go, go, go. Go flat tracker. Go flat tracker. Go, go.
The Clever Flat Track Pod is brought to you by our partners 193 Racing, MX Inc., Classic Wheel Spokes and Otway Hydro Blasting, Rider Sport, Euroka Fencing, and of course, Clever Flat Track products. They support us, so go support them. Now on to the episode. Go Flat Tracker.
Certainly is. Recording in progress. Here we are for the Clever Flat Track Pod. Your host today, Darcy Claver and Tom Northey. Shit, I almost forgot your name. Almost said Thomas. Tom Tickler, the King Tickler. I don't know. Apparently people get his name wrong. How the fuck you get Tom wrong? I don't know. Anyway, on this podcast, we are talking all about the Aftn subs. You would have joined in and listened to Mick Pillinger, because I know you're good, supportive listeners, and you would have listened to that podcast and known that Mick didn't have all the answers because he hadn't read the subs out. So the subs weren't actually out at that time either. So it's not bad on him. Well, it sort of is. He's one of the event managers. He should know. Mick, you should know. So we're giving you shit today because you're not here to defend yourself. So the knives are out. The knives are out. So here we go. We're going to have a look at the subs. I'm going to do a bit of screen sharing. So that's what this pod is all dedicated to. And to be 100% honest, as normal, we are really organised, and I've read through the whole lot. Not. Yeah. So this is our first time reading as well. So
there's going to be a lot of questions.
There will be a few questions. I did make it 100. I magnified it because if you have just watched the podcast before or listened to the podcast before, I didn't bring my reading glasses. We're doing two pods in one day because I'm about to fly out. Tom's going to the Junior Track Championships, and this is really our last chance to get a couple pods in before I go overseas. And I'm not sure. I do have a roaming pack, but I'm not sure I can see us trying to do a pod, which I'm keen to do. If I can meet up with some of the DTRA guys, I might get Tom on if we can. Work out the time differences, 11 hours behind in England. So, and yeah, maybe get a pod on the go, which would be awesome. I'm going to take my stuff, so hopefully, but I'm not sure if my roaming pack will allow it. We know how bad my internet can be just up in the shed, so imagine a whole country away. So,
well,
anyway,
somewhere where it's got Wi-Fi.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, we've got places booked all over the shop, so you never know. I'm pretty sure Wi-Fi is usually a part of that. Catherine booked most of the accommodation. I booked one at place in Scotland and the place in the Netherlands. So, yeah, we should be right. We'll see how we can go and see who I meet.
What's the time difference between
11 hours.
11, so it's almost opposite.
Oh, look, let's not get into mathematics. I've been failing at a lot of other stuff today.
I just need to know if I need to get up at 1 o'clock in the morning and do a podcast with you because you're...
No, so when do we talk to Jade? So my eldest daughter's over there at the moment. We normally talk to her in the morning and it's her midnight. Then we talk to her later at night and it's her morning. So I think like 7... anyway. Let's not discuss it now. We're here to discuss Aftn.
But we'll work it out. Well, at the moment now, it's 4:14 a.m.
in the morning. Yeah, so at 7 o'clock at night, your time, it's like 8 in the morning or something, isn't it?
Beautiful. No. So what does that mean?
No, it's in the middle of the day.
Yeah, 8 hours.
It's in the middle of It's in the middle of the day. So we'll be over the
8 hours behind.
It's 11, isn't it?
Well, if it's 4:14 there now and it's 12 p.m. here now, I can see his eyes rolling around like slot machine. That's 8 hours.
I just got really itchy in the ear. I think it was from thinking too hard. But anyway.
Righto.
Round one, Maryborough Motorcycle Club, Action Park, round 2 TT. So, sorry, round 1's flat track. Round 2 TT, Maryborough Park, Queensland. You've got lovely little permit numbers there. The third round is at Albury Flat Track at Albury Motorcycle Club with Wodonga, Victoria. Woohoo! Fourth round is Albury TT, which looks absolutely sick. So I'm going to be at these rounds. I am unfortunately not going to be at Maryborough. So, yeah, Albury Wodonga for the TT as well. Round 5 is at Griffith, flat track and TT on the same day. So there is some changes to that some people may not be aware of, as my co-host was not. I actually had one up for a change. Round 6, Gunnedah Flat Track, Gunnedah Motorcycle Club, New South Wales, and round 7, Gunnedah TT, Gunnedah Motorcycle Club, New South Wales.
Well, I'll one up back on him because you'd like to know the dates of these events. Might be handy to know what venue to go to at what date. So the 26th and the 27th of July is Maryborough. 23rd, 24th of August is Albury. The 11th of October, which would be a day-night meet, is at Griffith, New South Wales, and November 15, 16's at Gunnedah, New South Wales for the finale.
That was very handy. Very insightful.
Trying to throw me in the mud, you bastard.
Very insightful of you there, Tom. Well done. Well done.
Yeah, I think people like this pod because of the controversy rather than the information.
So I'm not going to read all the announcement, jurisdiction, licensing, all that. These are obtainable on the Aftn website, and you go to competitors list and you'll see it there, subregs for 2025 V1, so version 1. So I'm guessing that means this could change if it has to.
Yep.
Event officials, looks like pretty much the crew from last year.
Yep.
Shelley Thompson, I'm not sure. Clerk, of course, is still to be up. Ali O'Donnell was there. Denise Dawes always been there.
Yep.
Insurance, medical services, classes of competition, Pro 450. So we all know MX frame, 19-inch flat track tyres, Pro Twins, 499cc, 4-stroke and above, twin cylinder, 19-inch flat track tyres, Clubman Open, up to 501cc, 2-stroke or 4-stroke MX frame flat track tyres, 19-inch. Pro Woman, 250cc to 450cc, 4-stroke MX frame, 19-inch flat track tyres, and junior lights up to 150cc, 2-stroke or 250 4-stroke MX, 19-inch flat track, 13 under 16. And that's, I was freaking out because I didn't see the 85. That's why there was a pause there. Sorry. Junior, next page, junior 85cc, 2-stroke to 150cc, 4-stroke MX frame, 17-inch tyres, flat track tyres. So nothing's changed there apart from the addition of the women's class, which we have had not last year, but the year before. As we talked to Mick Billinger on the Aftn podcast, they're giving it a red hot crack, and good on them. I really hope it works out for them. I'm not, to be honest, brutally honest, I'm not confident, and I sort of don't understand. We didn't get into it with him on the pod. We didn't want to bail him up either, but I don't really understand the move myself at this stage. But I hope it proves me wrong, and they have 13 girls turn up. So anyway, rider may be entered multiple bikes in multiple classes. However, unless ridden by a different entrant, no bike can be ridden in the same class other than the designated in the table above. 6.1 endorsements. All juniors must be endorsed. Pro twin races, no front brake again. I sort of wish they would change that. Pro twin motorcycles must have come with top-mounted risers and upright handlebars as OEM. No clip-on handlebars.
So if you've got a twin that it comes standard with different risers or different bars, can you run that, or do you have to change that?
Look, you'd have to contact the Aftn team and discuss it with them, I would say, but it's saying no there. So
yeah, okay.
Going by the subs, I'm saying no, but if you give them a ring, they do, as Mick discussed with us, they're developing it and they're open-minded, so just give them a ring. Pro Twin Street Cup. So this is a change to the twin side of things this year. Pro Twin Street Cup, Pro Twins racing with standard frame configuration will qualify for Pro Twin Street Cup. Frame must remain as OEM and relating to its geometry and engine mounting. Rear suspension mounts can be relocated to accommodate shock replacement. However, any modifications must be approved by technical officer at the event and of the event, sorry, not at the event, of the event. So yeah, that's the phone call you need to make. And same with your handlebars. If you do have an issue like that, I'd be ringing them and just making sure they'll let you run it. Engines mounted in frames other than matching original equipment frame for that model will not qualify for Pro Twin Street Cup, but you will be in Pro Twins. It doesn't say that there. That was my little ad because that's what he told us on the pod.
Yeah, well, it's so essentially they're going to run two classes, but run them together and score them
and score separate.
They are. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I hope they get enough twins that is going to make two. They have to run two classes, eventually.
Well, yeah. Well, hopefully they've got enough twins that everyone sort of, makes something that constitutes just the one class.
Righty ho. So classes at the rounds. So round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Pro 450 races every round. Junior Lights race every round. Junior 85s race every round, every track. Pro Women's only at 1, 2, and 5. That will be their final round and where their championship is awarded. Clubman Open only at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I shouldn't say only at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And Twins at round 1, round 3, and round 6. Any comments?
Yes. I do understand, and I do like the fact that they're including the women in the series, because I believe that there should be space and room for everybody. The only thing is look, a lot of people that live in New South Wales and Victoria probably are happy that they don't have to travel all the way to Maryborough in Queensland to do round 1 and 2, but I kind of think they might be shooting themselves in the foot a little bit with taking them out and adding the women's in. I believe they should be there, but I believe that should be in there with clubmen too. I reckon they should put them in as well, which also gives the women, not that you can run the same, you can't run the same bike in two classes, can you?
No, that's what it was saying.
Okay, no, okay. Well, I was going to say, it gives the women an opportunity to ride in the clubman class as well. But yeah, I think they should have clubmen there too as well. But it'd be interesting to see how it is. But I understand that if time's a factor or anything like that, well, yeah. But I reckon it can be moved around or changed around a bit to accommodate for all of them, if that's the way they want to do it. Or can the clubman class and run everyone in the Pro 450s? I think a lot of clubmen will be very surprised how far up they are in the order of the pro class. I think a lot of them don't give themselves enough credit. But yeah, I believe if they move up into the pro class or combine the two, there'll be it'd be just as competitive, just as good racing. I know it's daunting in a way that I wouldn't enter the Pro 450 class, but I believe that they should can it and then stick them all in one and
so
go.
In saying that, you're saying I wouldn't enter the Pro 450 class, but if you knew by your qualifying times it was going to be put into 3 or 4 groups, would you still enter then, knowing that you're going to be in with riders of your same ability?
If I know I'm going to definitely be in the show and not miss out, due to probably being very, very low down the order, 100%. If I still get to race that day, by all means, I'd be there to make the numbers up because I get to race. The only reason I wouldn't is because it's got a cutoff.
Yeah, right.
So
okay. Yeah, so we did this.
But then again, that's all comes down to time, because instead of having 2 groups of 450s, you've now got 4 groups of 450s. So it's the same of having a clubman class,
and a women's class. It's right. Look, they've got a complicated problem. Yeah, and I'm going through the same thing with what I'm doing down here at the moment. So it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. So try to be understanding, guys. To me, the clubman brings a lot of numbers, a lot of riders that also have junior riders. I think it could be quite hurtful. I really hope it's not hurtful for that, that first round for them, numbers wise. But look, yeah, I don't have the answer either. So I love the woman weight races, and it's nothing against female races, but I've always been a little bit on the fence about having a separate class for them anyway, because there's some amazing female talent out there that really give it to the boys. So I don't, I don't know. Uh, it is such a hard one.
We're not trying to shit
It's
on AFTN for their choices and decisions. What they're
oh
doing,
no, no, no,
what
not
they're
at all.
doing with
No.
moving to different tracks, trying
It's just
different
a hard
things.
one. I'm just hoping it's not going to hurt them. And as being a competitor myself in the twins, to be honest, I was quite disappointed I wasn't going to get to ride Griffith. And I can imagine what the clubman guys feel like. They
Yeah,
would have been teed up, looking forward to go racing, and they're missing the first two rounds. So I get it from both sides, from a promoter side and from a competitor side. As a sort of business orientated person, I think it's a massive risk. It's been 100% transparent here. I think it's a big risk. You have anywhere from 30 plus riders, or let's say 20 be minimum 20 plus riders turning up for clubmen for the promise of what Mick was saying. Mick's words, not mine. 8 women saying they'll turn up. I think, yeah, to me that's a pretty ballsy move on their part, and I really hope it pays out for them. They get a lot more female riders. So, if you
yeah.
are a female rider listening to this pod, please prove us wrong. Support AFTN, turn up to those rounds, and put a smile on their dial, and they can all give us the rude finger. That's what I'm hoping will happen, and I hope that will help the clubman riders that are disappointed go, okay, yeah, well, great. The woman got a race and there was a good turnout. It was justified. So, and then the same again at round 5, where the pro twins will be missing out on the ride. And look, I know there's some logistical issues there with the Griffiths track. So, but I still would have raced it. Like I've said on many pods in the past, I'll jump the fucking thing. So, would be
Well,
the
they do have a track where they don't. Well, like the oval track,
with
they don't have an oval track. It's a dirt track.
no,
Where
it's a
the
right. Yeah,
right-hander.
but you can do
There's,
right-handers on the twins. Yeah,
yeah, 100%. There's no reason
yeah,
why the twins couldn't have done that right-hander. But I think
yeah.
as well as they've taken the twins out so they can accommodate for the women's.
Of
I
course, yeah, yeah.
if you listen to the Mick Pillinger pod, I did ask the question if the clubman riders or the riders that do race in the clubman class can ride in the Pro 450 class at Maryborough. They said yes, they can. I asked him, are they allowed to go back to clubman class for the remaining rounds? And the answer was, I don't know. I still haven't got that answer. I haven't spoken to Dave personally myself, and I haven't had anyone get back to me about that. I do believe there are a couple that are going to Maryborough, clubman riders that are going to Maryborough to ride the Pro 450 class, but I don't see why they shouldn't be allowed to go back down to clubman for the remaining rounds if that's their preferred class. But if they're told no, that they can't go back once they've raced in the Pro 450 class, I think you may lose that rider, because at the end of the day, even though they still offering half the money back for riders that don't make the event.
Not sure we haven't got that far.
Yeah,
We'll
okay.
see.
Well, that's the thing as well.
Should be in here.
That's the thing as well, is if I go race Maryborough in the Pro 450 class, chances are I ain't making the show, and that's fair enough. That was my choice to go up, and that was what I knew may happen. But if now I'm told that I can't enter the clubman class anymore, well, I'm sorry, but I'm not traveling to Albury, Griffith, and Gunnedah to race in a Pro 450 class that I know I'm not going to make, or there's a high chance I know I'm not going to make. So I hope for the riders that do go up to Maryborough and ride the 450 class can go back and ride the clubman. I wish they all would do it so they could see how fast they could be or how competitive they could be. But I do believe Maryborough had a ride park day the same weekend as Temora had their club day last. And a full stack turnout. I think the numbers were filled. And I heard good things. I heard mixed things, but they were predominantly all good. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to getting up there. I hope I can get up there. My schedule conflicts massively with 3 events this year, but I'm trying to pull a few strings and get up to Maryborough to support everybody. So fingers crossed it all goes well.
Yeah, or as we heard on the Aftn pod with Mick Pillinger, time is what they're battling. They want to run a smooth show. So that's why they're doing this class cutting instead of trying to run it all together and replacing, twins with women and clubmen with women. And, they're giving the women a fantastic opportunity. And as I also said, there's other countries that have already looked at Australia and gone, they present a women's class. So and they want it, their women riders want it. So it's probably me just being a pig-headed man, going, come on, they can toughen up and race with everyone else. But, if it does present a woman an opportunity at a Australian Championship, if they get the numbers and an Australian title, that in my reality, I think that we have women races that can go up against Hurricane and the likes and run at the top. And we'll get there after persisting for a few years of racing and increasing that intensity of that, getting used to that intensity race level. I do think we do have women talent that can do that. And I can't wait to see that day and be proved right. But, it also gives the woman a chance to get a title within their own gender. And I don't know. I'm still on the fence about it. It's a funny one. We could do the whole pod on this subject basically. But anyway, that's the choice they've gone with. I hope it pans out for the Aftn, and I hope as a racer you understand why they do it. If you haven't listened to that Mick Pillinger pod, have a listen to it because it might change your opinion a bit. Right, so we did ask this question. To constitute a class for the purpose of gaining series points, the number of riders entered and competing in each class shall be 10 or more starters for solos which actually participate in practice, qualifying and races. To constitute a championship, entries in the relevant class must meet the minimum number of starters as per the GCRs.
So women, if you get more than 10, they're saying that they'll turn it into a championship class. So hopefully that entices a hell
you
of a
all
lot.
have to practice, qualify, and race. So you have to.
Yeah. Well, if you show up to the
go
event,
through the whole lot.
Yeah, if you show up to the event, that's exactly what you are going to do.
Yeah, but where I think this comes undone, and I think this is where the Twins came undone last year, is you'll start with 10, and by the time the race comes around, you might end up with 6 because you lose a few, so then it doesn't constitute. And I think that's where it can come undone. So you really want to have 20 competitors.
Yeah,
so
well,
if you lose
lose
a few, you're fine.
I know for a fact there's a handful of them that race the Australian dirt track titles that aren't going to do it, but I still hope there's a fair few. I know Troy Bayliss Classic a few years back, they had a women's class and they restricted it to 12, but the quality of women riders that rode that event, and yes, they were on oil tyres, which are 17s, or some might have been running 17, 19, whatever the combination was. And they were super, super fast, and it was great racing to watch. So hopefully we can get some of those riders to compete again, and hopefully some of those riders can enter this class. Because there's nothing I'd hate to see them only have a small representation due to the fact that a lot of them don't like riding 19s because it's not what they're used to, or they don't like it or prefer it or whatever the reason behind it is. I'd hate to see them say to the clubman, look, we're not going to run you there so we can run the ladies and it fall on its head. I just don't want to see any steps back, but I believe that you've got to fail to succeed too. So I'm in two different worlds in this as well. But yeah, hopefully they can get more than 10 ladies in there and they can crown a pro women's Australian flat track champion. I reckon that'd be unreal. That'd be a massive, massive stepping stone for the sport.
Yeah, and if the ladies don't turn up, and this is my own thoughts, not Mick didn't suggest anything, or Aftn hasn't suggested anything, but I wouldn't be counting. They're giving you a second chance here. I wouldn't be counting on a third chance. So if you are one of the lady races and you've got the WhatsApp page or whatever, I would be kicking everyone's asses into gear and saying, "Come on, this is our chance." If you all rock up, you'll get another year. If you don't rock up again and there's 4 riders, I would be saying forget it. But that's only my view. I don't know. That's not AFTN. That's my view. That's how, as a promoter, yeah, you can't, this, the girls not turning up is going to be costing them money. Entries, like we just said before, 20 to 30 clubman riders not showing up. And if there's only even eight women riders, it's going to hurt their pocket. So, and that's just the reality of the stuff. And as I say, it's my words. Don't go saying it was anyone else's. That's my words. This one, so 8.3. The maximum numbers on the riders on the track is 18. So the maximum number of riders per class is 18, except for the Pro 450 because they have an A and B. The maximum number of riders to qualify is 36. So entries will not be limited. However, those riders who do not qualify within the number of riders per class specified will not be eligible to race that round. So you got to qualify.
Yeah, I think
for ladies, twins, and clubmen, you got to qualify to basically make the racing.
Oh, same with the Pro 450s. You've got to qualify to make the racing too.
Well, you got to qualify in the top 36. You've just got a few more spots available.
I think that's what may deter a lot of riders to go to the Pro 450 class is the fear of not qualifying, which is, I wouldn't say it's a fear of mine, but it's probably common knowledge that I ain't going to make it. But yeah, I think that's the reasoning behind it.
Yeah. Entrants who do not qualify to race are eligible for 50% refund this year of entry fees for the round. A full refund last year was very, very generous, if you ask me. 50% is still very generous. And that's all part of, as we spoke to Mick, easing everyone into the changes. Humans, no matter in which country you live in, are not great at change. So no one really likes changes. So it's baby steps, as we talked about. Pro 450 class with greater than 18 entrants field will be split into Pro 450 and Pro 450B. Pro 450 fastest qualifiers, Pro 450B remaining riders. That's a nice way to put it. Both groups race the entire program and accrue championship points. The top riders from the Pro 450B and race 1 have the option to transfer to Pro 450 as per table below. Points are awarded through both groups. For example, with 24 entrants, the winner of Pro 450B race 1 will earn 22 points, the equivalent of finishing 14th. So I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Can I push the button? Oh, that does work. So there's a table on there. If you're listening, not watching, you can go on the website and have a look. It just explains how the points work. Pro 450 rider who qualifies 35th and above can join Pro 450 in the event of a position opening due due to a higher qualified rider withdrawing. So
Right.
I'm guessing, if they crash out or something like that, you can jump back in and try to score some points. See 13.4.3 for more information. Uh, should there be insufficient entries in any class or competition, the decision to run or cancel the class or to combine events and redistribute any awards and prize money will be at the discretion of Aftn, subject
Hold
to
on one
EMA
second.
approval.
They said the Pro 450 class was 36, correct?
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be 34 if only 18 riders are allowed in the A group? Because you got 18 in the A, 18 in the B. Yeah, it says 34.
Yeah, that's 36.
But it said 36 higher up. If you scroll back up, it said 36. So technically it's not, it's 34. Keep going.
Yeah, because A group is only 16 qualify into it to leave the 2 spots for the B groups to step in, remember?
That's right, yeah, but higher up you read out it was 36. So just clarifying that it's 34, not 36. Make the show. See there.
The maximum numbers of riders on the track is 18. The maximum numbers of riders in Pro 450 class is 36. Yeah, that's A and B, 2 classes. Oh, yeah, but I see what you're saying.
Sorry, yeah, that's what that's the
Mm.
only thing I was sort of a little confused. So it means the maximum riders in the Pro 450 class is 34, not 36.
That's how I would take it too, but yeah, so 36 there. I think it's just a wording thing.
No, it's I think pretty sure everyone understands. I just wasn't sure if it was
Club and open to have a maximum number of 18 entries.
yeah. Yeah.
Entries, open, closing dates can be found in the table below. So for round 1 and 2, opening date is next month on the 2nd, so 2nd of June, and the closing date is the 13th of July. Late entry, 20th of July. All right. I guess there's an added fun on the late entries. For round 3 and 4, opening date is the 29th of June. Closing is 10th of August. For round 5, 10th of August is opening for round 5, which is Griffith, and the closing date is the 28th of the 9th. Round 6 and 7th is the 11th of the 9th, and closing date 2nd of the 11th. In case of postponement or abandonment of the meeting, all or any part of the entrant fee may be retained by the promoter if such retention is approved by EMA. Only entries received via RiderNet will be accepted, so you need to be logged into RiderNet. Entry fees, all senior riders, $130 per round, $100 for an additional if you're going to ride twins as well. Or women's Pro 450 and twins. All junior riders, 130, no additional class, obviously. Pro twins is $100. So they do, they do give you a little bit of a discount there for twins riders since you don't get so much ride time. I still, as you would have heard on the Mick Pillinger pod, I don't think that's a way to grow the twins, not giving more race time. And as Mick, quite clearly stated, it's all about having a smooth program. But yeah, they're just some of the issues that need to be ironed out, and I hope they will be. Riding it. Yeah, late entry. So that late entry that was open to the 20th cost you another $50. For the withdrawal of an entry to be valid, it must be made in writing at least 10 working days prior to the first day of round in question. A withdrawal under the criterion will receive a refund. However, $20 of the entry fee will be withheld for administration costs, and all credit card and processing fees will not be refunded.
Yeah, it's fair.
So all this stuff Entry passes. Each rider will receive 3 passes, 1 for the rider and 2 for the team. All right. Scrutineering will be self-scrutineering again. You can read all through that stuff. That's what you should be doing anyway to make sure your bike complies and that you're filling those sheets out right. The start's a dummy grid procedure. Refer to the final instructions for each round. So you'll get that. Race start. When an elevated light is extinguished, should lights not be available, the dropping of a raised flag will be used. I think that was the same last year. Jump
So
starts.
does that mean the dropping of the raised flag? Does that mean when the flag gets to the bottom of the movement, or when the flag starts moving from top to bottom?
Top to bottom is the way I take that, but who
So as
knows?
soon as it moves, as soon as his hand starts moving down, bang, you can go.
That's how I've always read that sort of flag
Yeah.
drop.
Yeah. I just know there's been controversy in the past with things like that.
Yeah.
People getting a full bike, jump because they've moved, hell of a lot early.
So you can read all about the jump starting. As a rider, you should be reading through this stuff anyway to make sure you're on the ball. Flags and signals, that's
Just
all
don't
you
jump
may
start.
stuff.
That makes it easy.
Race format, qualifying, 2 lots of qualifying, 5 minutes for all classes. All classes except Pro Twins get 4 races.
Why do the twins riders get tired?
Refer to final instructions for details on race types and lengths for each round. So yeah, they may change the laps if the program gets out of whack. But generally it's 10, 10, 15. Sorry, 10, 15, 10, 15. Is that how it went last year? Oh my God, I've forgotten already. Or something like that.
Yeah.
It might have been 10, 10, 15, 10. Was it? Yeah, I can't
I
remember.
think it was 12, not 15. I think it was 8.
I remember one round they did change it because we went out of time a bit.
Yeah, one of them
Overtime a
was
bit.
8. Yeah, I'm not I'm not 100% sure.
So grid positions will be determined by merge times from qualifying 1 and 2. The fastest rider will choose on either the left or right side of the first row of the grid.
See, that spins me out how they've only got the left or the right, because
Yeah.
if the left is in the marbles on the inside and on the right is on the marbles of the outside, and the race line is on grid 2, 3, or 4, that kind of disadvantages of you winning Super Pole or getting pole position. It should be.
So as we were talking about off here about the Victorian flat track, that won't be happening. If you've got first pick, you pick anywhere on the first row. So that's just I'm not sure why they do that. Actually, we should have asked Mick. I'm not sure if he could have answered it anyway.
Yeah.
But that's a funny one. I don't understand that either. But anyway, that is the rule, so you have to follow it. Pro 450 and Clubman Open. Pro 450 class grid positions will be determined by 2 qualifying sessions and a super pole for the top 6. So, sorry. Yeah. That was my bad. I was going to say, is that for the Clubman as well? But it's just the way I read it beforehand.
No. That's the same as last year.
Yeah, just the Pro 450. Pro 450 Super Pole, 6 fastest riders. We know how all that works. Personally, I'd like to see the Super Pole gone.
Oh, I think it's a good spectacular. I'm disagreeing.
Do you like it?
One.
Yeah.
The one thing I'm disagreeing with you is that one.
Yeah, well, I'd rather it be a race.
Well, yeah, I kind of do
a bit like America, because then you're seeing the fastest 6 race each other, and I think that's a bit cooler.
Well, but I think as well as if you've got the fastest 6 riding each other, not everyone gets the opportunity to have a good start. At least with a flying lap, everyone's got the opportunity to have equal conditions to consider pole. So
yeah, okay,
yeah, I like
fair enough.
Not a race.
Yeah.
I reckon they should do it a bit quicker. I think they should do it as the rider.
How can they do it quicker?
As the rider passes the finish line, to loop back around to sit under the tent. The next rider goes out for
It's
the
warm
first
up.
lap for the flying lap. Like they sort of stop it, then they have read out the times, and then the rider gets let go. It's if you're looking for time, they bang, 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 like bang it out. Like it's
Yeah. Oh, look, last might have been Canada. One of them they were a bit quicker at it. I think it was Canada. They were doing that a bit quicker. I don't know.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's 15th of a second. I'm going to disagree with you on that. I think
All right, disagree or you
15th. Yeah, riders in the Pro 450 class, merge times qualifying. Uh, so finishing in yeah. So if you finish from 17th to 34th, you'll be in B group.
Yep.
So most of the guys will know this. Most of the listeners will know this. You can, as I've said multiple times, come and read all the nitty gritty for yourself. So the winners of B group in the first race have the choice to transfer into those remaining two spots. So the first 16 qualify into A group and 17 to 34 B group. So those first two, so 17th and 18th, basically, which is
Yep.
first and second in the first race of B. Hey, yeah, is your mind boggling yet?
No, I'm with you.
Yeah, you get to choose if you want to go into that. Yeah, if you want to go into that A group or not. And why wouldn't you? Like I know some people have chosen not to, but even if you're actually, does it change it? No.
Even if you're last, you still scored more points than the first place in B group.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah, yeah.
Because
So
it's
it does
50,
change it. You're
55.
still going to score. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 55 for a win in A group, and it's 25 for a win in B group, or 22 for a win in B group. But it's 25 for, or I think it is points for last place in A group. So
Yeah. So
even
you're
if you come
still going
last
to
every
be.
single time, you're still scoring more points than them, no matter what.
Yeah. So it would make sense to move up, even if
Yeah.
you're not
Oh,
confident that you're going
100% you
to
would move up.
finish.
Mm. You never know. A
Yeah.
rider could
All
go
right.
down
So
and finish 15th, or
yeah, that's right.
and you
Exactly
go
right.
up even higher. So on a
That
championship.
is one thing I will credit the Aftn for. They do not pull the red flag out lightly. So it has to be pretty obvious that you need to stop for the
Yeah,
red
it
flag to
has
come
to
out.
be a
So
real big danger. Mm.
that advantage is definitely there. What Tom's talking about. So yeah, if you're in the B group, I'd be moving up.
Yeah. Go back up a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's just
probably rather qualify 35, 35th and above, possibly opening. Yeah.
does that mean to? Hold on, I'm not understanding that.
Read it out.
Which one? 15.37.
Yeah. Is that the one you're not understanding?
Pro 450 riders who qualify 35th and above
Yeah.
can join Pro 450 in the event. Oh, no. I understand that one.
So if a rider withdraws,
Yeah.
yeah, and if you're 34th, 30, you can move into the. So if you're 34th and 30,
Oh, hold on. This
if
is
you're,
new. Riders in Pro 450 who qualify 35th and above, so you're right at the back of the pack, can race in Clubman Open should space in the Class B available. However, once they have chosen to race in Clubman Open, they can no longer take position in Pro 450 should it become available as described above for that round of the series.
okay.
So
So
this is what you were talking
so
about.
So if they choose not to go to clubman class, if they don't qualify for it and a position opens up in the 450 class, if someone withdraws, they can't go into that spot. But someone that doesn't drop to the, well, I wouldn't say drop down to the clubman class.
Or someone from the Clubman camp.
Someone doesn't move to the clubman class and waits it out and someone withdraws or whatever, they can go in there.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think
But
you're on the money.
my question was, can a rider that rides the Pro 450 class at Maryborough go back to Clubman in the remaining rounds? That was my question. And hopefully we can
Yeah,
find.
but we also talked about people travelling and missing out,
Yep.
and you were talking about Pro 450 riders travelling all that way and missing out. Can they go into Clubman? Do you remember that?
Yes, I do, and I'm
Yeah.
glad that was straightened out
So
because
that I reckon this might be a result from that, or they've already thought of the same thing.
well, either or
Um,
the issue at hand is rectified, so that's great.
so in the last couple of years, that wouldn't be an option because Clubman was full. It will be interesting to
Yeah,
see this year after Maryborough, the response. Yeah, the response. I've lost my own. The response from
because there's
the
only
Clubman riders.
because there's only 18 riders allowed in clubman class, and there was more than that at every round.
So yeah, sorry guys.
Yeah.
There we are.
Okay.
15.2.
No, it's good that that they're making sure that everyone who makes the effort to go and attend their events
It's
can.
going to get it right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And all insurances, the race secondary must be notified in timely manner. Clubman Open, same stuff.
So grid positions are the same. Qualifying's the same. Hold on, go back up. Combined times of clubman and Pro 50 riders 35th and above can choose either left or right side of the front row. Second rider.
Same rule. Yeah.
Outright. Yeah, okay, yeah. I'm just making sure the rules here for clubmen are relatively the same. Oh, if timing's not available, live timing's not available, you don't get the extra 5 points for pole.
Okay.
Which there should be transponders for every event, I'd like to think. I'm sure Maryborough and all that's got set up.
In the event of two riders achieving equal super pole times, the rider who sets the fastest time in the merge times for both qualifying sessions will qualify in the higher position.
Oh, so whoever sets
I
the
thought,
time
yeah, but
first.
I thought we're talking about Clubman. Are they having a super pole?
No. Just above it, it's at 15 point. You keep flicking that around, and I'm trying to revert back to what you asking me what I said. So go back.
Must be
15.1.
15.7.
No.
You
I
read that?
wasn't talking about Clubman then. I was no, I wasn't even looking at that. I was back up to where you were originally.
Yeah, but did you just read 15.7?
No, I read 15.1.
Yeah, well, in 15.7, which we are currently under Clubman rules, Clubman Open,
Yeah.
and 15.7, in the event of two riders achieving equal super pole times,
Okay.
the
Well,
rider who sets the fast.
is this Clubman rules or is this all of rules? Go back up.
Yeah, hold
I
on.
don't believe
Going
it.
back up. Yeah, look. 15.4,
No.
Clubman Open. 15.41.
Hold
Now
on.
we're talking about Clubman, aren't we?
Oh no, just go back up a bee's dick. Yeah, wise. Okay, if they're talking about Clubman, then as far as I can gather, Clubman's got Super Bowl. Unless
Yeah, okay. I'm confused about it. That
unless
is
they've
a question
copied and
mark.
pasted that. See, if they're talking about Clubman, why are they mentioning
Accident.
Pro 450 riders in 15.4?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. Trying to find the fastest rider. Clubman Open and Pro 450, 35th and above.
Yeah.
Yeah, because those guys, if there's room in Clubman, they can go into Clubman, remember?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Should timing not be available? Yeah.
Fucking doing my head, this is.
Yeah. So in an event of two riders achieving equal Super Pole times, the rider who sets the fastest time in the merge times from qualifying sessions will qualify in a higher position. So whoever sets a faster time first. So that statement there is under Clubman. So, but it says in the event of two riders achieving equal times in the merge times of qualifying 1 and 2, the rider who sets the first time will qualify in a higher grid position.
I don't think there's.
I think 15.6
I
is referring to Clubman. I think 15.7 is referring to Pro 450s.
Yeah,
But they're
I'm not
saying the
sure what's
exact
going
same
on.
thing. They're just saying Super Bowl in the second one, not the first one.
Mm,
I don't know. Like I
yeah,
said,
I'm not sure.
everyone go through, read the sup reg so you can get your own understanding of what the rules and what's going to happen. And if you're not sure, contact Dave or Mick or whoever's in charge of answering questions to find out exactly what the go is. But
So starting grid is 3 rows of 6 riders, 6 meters apart. Penalty line is 6 meters behind the third row. Each row to be evenly divided into 6 segments.
yep.
Riders are not to line up directly behind the competitor in the row ahead of them.
Oh, right. Okay. So you stagger yourself a little bit off to
Meant
the
to be
left or
staggered
right, I
off a bit.
believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to stop those head-on collisions happening.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Well,
head on.
rear
If
enders.
if
Yeah,
there's a head on,
whatever.
we're up shit creek there, mate.
You know what I mean. Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
One rider riding into the other if they do still stall the engine or something.
Yeah, which happens quite a bit, which I'm pretty sure, yeah. That's how road racing staggers theirs too, which
So if you cause
I wouldn't mind it situated that way, but then again it takes away the pole position line if you want to choose inside or outside, which it
what's
could
that,
be any
so?
rig on the first. I said they should start it like they do road racing, how they stagger it like that. So it's not you're not directly behind the person in front, but then again, it takes away from the pole position advantage to will be on the inside or outside, which we both agreed that it should be anywhere on the front row.
Well, so what I'm planning on doing to the best of our ability is having so at this stage it's probably going to be rows of 4, not rows of 6. The first row will be in this like pretty central, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And then the other rows behind are going to be staggered right to left.
Yep.
So, yeah, the pole position, or the first pick, you basically you're going to be getting the best lines.
Yeah, you pick wherever you see fit.
Yeah, but like it's not staggered off to the left. It's you're going to have pretty much the whole
Yeah.
choice of the whole track, if that makes sense. I think that makes sense.
We'll have to do it. We'll have to do a VFT pod just so people
Yeah.
aren't confused with what championship we're talking about.
Yeah, fair, cool. I should have shared that.
Yeah. Are we doing a third one today?
Yeah. So it is it. Sorry, not a third. Well, no, I'm going to run out of time. I'm going to have to go back to work soon. Starting grid format for solo machines. So yeah, 6 riders, 6 meters apart. Penalty line 6 meter behind. If you
Yep.
cause a red flag within the first laps, you go to the penalty line.
Yep.
Red flag after 2 laps have been completed by leader will be restarted with a staggered start, with the rider causing the red flag starting at the rear of the grid.
So are they going to revert back a lap or to the previous time they
Not
crossed the
sure.
finish line? I'm sure they'll just revert. They won't revert it back a lap. They'll revert it back to the last time you passed.
Race is 9 laps. The left red flag shown after 50%. May be declared. Race is 10 laps or more. Red flag shown after 75%. Race completion may be declared. Riders deemed to have caused a red flag on purpose may be excluded. Well, so they should be.
Yeah.
Staggered restart procedure. Pole position for a staggered restart will be declared as inside or outside by the clerk of the course based on the track conditions. Start positions will be staggered backward at an angle across the circuit and back again in a zigzag pattern. If there's that many riders, each rider will line up behind the approximately 1 meter. In the event of a jump start during a staggered restart, the race will not be stopped. Riders deemed to have jumped the start will have 10 seconds added to their total race time.
Oh, geez. Yeah, right. Okay. So that's a big penalty there.
Yeah, fairly big penalty. with regards to motorcycles which are unable to be repaired in time for the restart, the rider will have until the completion of the leader's second lap following the restart to join the field. Gee, that's generous. And you might think I'm a nut bastard for saying that, but at the speeds these guys going, rejoining any race, I think is quite risky.
So how long does someone get to repair their bike if
Two laps of leader?
No. Meaning as in, say, for instance, two riders go down or one takes another one out, and the rider that's not at fault has to go in and get brake levers, clutch levers, bars changed, whatever. Wonder how long they'll get to be able to do that. Yeah, like I understand once the race restarts again, and they'll have a little bit of time, but how much time? Because it doesn't take.
That's the same rule for anyone. That one there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just
with regards to the
time.
motorcycles, which are unable to be repaired in time for the restart. So if you haven't got your lever back and they're starting, you have until the completion of the leader. So let's say it's Tom Drain out the front or Tom Herrick. When they're coming round for their second lap, if you haven't rejoined before then, you can't rejoin.
Yeah. No, meaning as in like from the accident of the start of the red flag coming out to second lap, how long? But
well,
I'm
just
guessing
depends
how long it takes for them just to regroup everyone, line them back up, and let them go.
I think that you couldn't put an actual time figure on that.
No,
because there might be medics dealing with riders. There could be
it must come down to the circumstance of the red flag and how much time.
Yeah. So look, I would say in most instances, you're going to have 5 minutes, roughly. So you don't fuck around if you need.
Which is hard because it's hard to determine if the levers bent, bars are bent quick enough to go, all right, well, these need to be changed to make the decision.
Look, if you've got, generally from my racing experience, if you've got a bent, most riders will know how to do a good enough repair to get through that race and then do the proper repair when they get back.
Yeah, that's right. You just ride with bars or
bang it against the wall to straighten it out as much as you can. Just ride with the bent levers, use one finger instead of two, whatever. I don't think that's a big official practice. Unofficial practice. Unofficial practice will not be allowed at each respective round venue for the period commencing 11 days prior to the first day on the track activity at each event. So you can't ride at a facility 11 days prior.
So if they run a practice day or club day beforehand, you can't.
The week before, you can't. If you're participating at the Aftn, you can't go to it. Official, like I say, it's the club and it's not Aftn holding it. Official practice days within this period may be approved at the discretion of Aftn. So, that's answering the question clearly for you. If the Aftn says, "Oh, we're having a practice at Appen because we haven't been there for 2 years, we're having a practice the week before the event," then you can go to that. But if Macarthur Flat Track Club say we're having a practice the week before the event, and it's not Aftn sanctioned, then you cannot. If it's just a club practice day, you cannot go. And look, you can try to be sneaky, but I'm pretty sure it would be found out.
100% it would be found out. I think the ride park days, you've got to enter them through RiderNet anyway. So I think you'll be caught out relatively quick because it'll be on their system.
Yeah. So 18.3 fastest qualifier awarded 5 points at each round. 18.4 450 riders moving to Clubman Open after qualifying are not eligible for fastest qualifier points in the Clubman Open. Yep. So first place 55 points, last place, so 34th position is 1 point. 35. If you're 35th or greater, you get no points.
So if you're in the winner of Pro 450B, and you move up, you essentially will be 1 point ahead every round of the winner of B class. Every time, yeah, because it's
So there's definitely incentive there to move up. So final instructions for event schedule. That's something Aftn does extremely well. They send out text messages, welcoming you to the meeting, everything like that, telling you where to sign in, what time to do it. They're really, really good on that sort of stuff. There's a one-off fee for your transponder hire per class, $15. Got to return it, or you end up paying for postage like someone did.
How much was postage?
I can't remember. I just sent it.
Yeah, I knew
I was so
it was you.
spewing. I was so spewing because I reminded myself to take it off and then got distracted and didn't take it off. Award
All
for
right.
prize money. Prize money will be paid in a timely manner upon the receipt of an invoice. Invoices must be received in a timely manner via admin. Prize money not claimed via an invoice before December 31 of the current year will be considered forfeited. So make sure you claim your prize. Media and PR, if you want to be a media person, you better read all that stuff. We're not going to read it for you. Machines and riders, all machines entered must comply with the current GCRs. So that's general competition rules. You'll find them on Motorcycling Australia website, and then go to. I think it's in the dirt track section. I actually haven't had a look this year to see if there's any changes. And you'll find a flat track national sort of set of rules in there.
So it
Right,
said you can
numbers.
change. It says you can change machine if you've written your bike off or it's unsafe. It says you can change it as long
Did
as
it?
you
Where was that?
go back up. You keep flicking. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
change a machine is allowed should a
24.3.
mechanical issue regulate the machine unsafe or inoperable for the remainder of the event. The race secretary must be notified and replacement machine must be presented to the scrutineer. Scrutineer machines must remain in the pit area at all times between races and can only be removed from the conclusion of the event or with permission of the clerk of the course. Failure to comply with the result exclusion from the meeting. So don't take your bike out of the pits for whatever reason, because if you do so, they're saying they're going to boot you. So the first 5 place getters must remain in impound in a selected area at the conclusion of the meeting for a period of 30 minutes to allow eligibility, fucking Jesus, protest to occur during this time. No machine in the class is impounded shall be removed from the selected area. Failure to comply with the regulation will result in a matter of being referred to the clerk of the course or further action. So it's the same as all the events. When you're done, they'll point you in the impound, leave it in there for half an hour, and then you're good to go.
Right, numbers. A competitor may register a 1, 2, or a 3-digit number for the AFTN season. So I think this is new. A rider who has competed in 3 rounds of the championship in the same class in the previous season is entitled to carry over their rider number to the next season. All numbers will be considered as pending until entries close for round 1 and the rider has entered. Any rider who wishes to keep the rider number for the new season but will not attend round 1 must complete the application form found at www.aftn.com.au. A rider who does not compete in 3 standalone rounds in the current season will forfeit their rider number and will be required to complete an application. A rider may only register 1 number per class.
So does I just quickly read through it to see if okay. I was just wondering if they're going to allow rider numbers 1 to 9 be reserved for the top 9 place getters in the previous season. I know obviously number 1 would be reserved for the winner if they decide to run that, but I was wondering if 1 to 9 would be reserved for the next season. I don't know.
So number 1 can only be used by
Yeah,
number one.
but say for
Which
instance,
makes
can
sense.
Jared Brook run number 3? Can Cameron Dunker or number 2? Sorry, can Cameron Dunker run number 3, and so forth?
So the recipient of the first, second, and third placing in the previous season can choose not to use number 1, 2, or 3 and can continue to use their preferred number as normal. If unused, the number 1 plate of that competitor's preferred number will not be used for any other competitor in the class. Further, their preferred number will be reserved for them for 1 year.
So 2 and 3 doesn't
Mm.
matter. It's just the number
It
1.
doesn't, yeah, it doesn't say anything about 2 or 3 there. It's your responsibility as a rider to confirm number was carried over from the previous season. So yeah, if you are, and we actually have had talks about numbers and how attached riders do get to their numbers. So if this is something that concerns you, get onto it. So you can check the AFTN rider number allocation document to ensure this has been completed at aftn.com.au.
I quite like it. Says riders in all classes who lead the series points are to run red number plate backgrounds.
Yeah.
I'd like it to be an option, but I'm sure as hell I'd run red plates if I was leading the series too. I reckon.
I actually think that's a great spectator thing. It makes it easy for the spectators to know who number 1 is.
Well, who's leading the series? Yeah,
Yeah. Sorry, who's leading the series? Yeah.
Number plates and machines must comply with the GCRs and must contain any decals or advertising other than a required MA and event decal. Okay, so you can't have anything else.
Can't have flashy graphics, which I'm not a big fan of this rule, to be honest. Yeah, you're stopping riders expressing themselves, and we're not Nazi Germany, but it's fucking
Well,
have fun.
if you've got a major sponsor that you want to put off on the top of the or whatever,
It should be able to have a bit of fun with it. In my opinion, you get a sticker from AFTN that goes on there. Surely that would still be visible with most graphics.
yeah.
Uh,
Back numbers.
look, I'm not a big fan of that one, but what's my opinion matter? Back
Yeah.
numbers matching the machine riding numbers are compulsory for all classes in contrasting colours with the minimum size of 125 height and we yeah, this is just one of those funny rules. We all know the number saga and the dirt track finals and really it's such a silly fucking thing. It's not what should be deciding race winners.
Does it say go back up a little bit?
Doesn't actually say about protesting it there from what I
No, it
see.
doesn't say exactly what you need to have as your back.
But
It's got to be compulsory for all riders in contrasting colours with a minimum size of 125 mil high and 20 mil wide. So essentially, you can have whatever color you want as long as it's that high and that wide, and it's going to be visible and it's not going to be hard to read, which is good because before they wanted this big, massive white background with black numbers on there.
Yeah.
And now it's just make it so they can read it. Like that's
pretty much.
Yeah,
and
which
look,
is good.
Which is fine. Just I was sort of more referring to someone getting out with a tape measure going, his numbers aren't 125 mil.
I'm sure if someone's going to come out and do that, it's going to be pretty. It'll be shut down pretty much because if anyone doesn't know, if anyone doesn't know, the protest that was put in Proserpine of the Australian titles in 2024, the protest was thrown out the door. So either which I don't know. I'm in two ways with that one, but at the end of the day, the guy didn't win it because he had black and white numbers. The guy won it because he was the fastest one out there.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, and we all know that.
Yeah.
And
but just to clear it up, the answer hadn't been given, and no one knew. The only reason I found out is because I looked on the trophy at this year's Aussie titles, and his name was on there.
Right.
So that's
and we have electronic timing now for the most part. So it's still important to be presented and have your numbers clear because normally, I'm not sure with the Aftn, but normally you'll have a lap scorer doing it manually just in case any malfunctions with the electronic system.
Yeah.
So it is important to have your numbers visible.
Yeah, just have everything visible, just so there's no that so they don't come up to you and go, "Hey, you've got to change your stuff." Like that's a massive inconvenience of the day of the meeting. Like, what are you going to do there? So that's what they've got to do.
This is interesting. Circuit descriptions. Well, Maryborough is decomposed granite or sand granite, however you like to call it. Wodonga should say the same. It's got TBC, so I'm not sure. To be confirmed. I'm not sure why that is.
Well, Otway's a really, really, really loam.
Sand granite track. So I'm not sure why that is. Maybe they're getting some new surface in. I'm not sure. Oil soaked dirt. What are these? Distance.
Yeah,
they just haven't got the distance. Yeah. And remaining 4 rounds all oil.
Yeah.
So
the good thing about the difference between Gunnedah and Griffith is Gunnedah is a very, very hard pack oil.
Oh, sorry, Griffiths
Griffiths is it's still hard pack on the racing line, but it is looser. So it's essentially 2 different surfaces. So it's fun to find the grip. I hope there's wide lines on both of them. So it executes great racing. I can't wait.
So track and suspension point 28.0. 28.1. You can go for walkies.
Yeah.
You can go for walkies and have a look.
See what it's all about.
Yeah.
If you don't like the track, go see the clerk of the course and tell him what you think's wrong. And you can withdraw from the meeting if you don't like their answer. And I'll tell you all this at Riders Briefing.
Track inspection there is also by foot. It might be vehicles working on the track. Not on your motorbikes or your scooters or your pushies, skateboard, etc. If you're upset or worried about the track, go and have a whinge. Sound testing may be conducted by a sound control officer. Could take place at any time.
Yes. And I do believe there has been some places that have complained about the RP exhaust being too loud. This is going to be a bit of a promo shot for Matt, so I want to be sending him an invoice. But he does have silencers or available for those RP exhausts. If you are deemed too loud, so hit up Davey's Motorcycles, contact us, and go get yourself a silencer. And Matt, I'll send you the invoice to Savo.
I really shouldn't be doing daytime pods. Matt Jones. Wrong person. Matt Davies. Motorcycles. Davies Motorcycles.
Yes.
Tyres. We have no idea what tyres we're using. Flat track tyres, obviously. Dunlop DD4s if you're in the 450 class. Anything else in the other classes, you're not allowed rims bigger than 3.5. Front and rear of all the classes.
19-inch flat track tyres, 17-inch for the 85 juniors.
Yeah.
Here we go. Tyre warmers are not allowed. All right, let me read this.
So Pro 450 is subject to control tyre front and rear.
You go. The tyre cutting, go back up. As per rule 13.12, the original molded flat track tyre pattern cannot be cut or modified. Trimming protruding tyre treads for the purpose of tyre fitment is allowed. So if I believe that's for mainly for the front. I believe that if your tyre is rubbing against your fork guards, you can trim them down. But you can't cut or modify the tread pattern or original tread pattern. Hand cut or MX trial, enduro or track racing tyres are not permitted. So obviously, you're running the Dunlop.
So that's a slight change from last year. So last year you could cut a new edge on the existing pattern. So like say the edge of your knobs were rounding off, you could cut a new flat edge. But they're not doing that. Yeah, they're not doing that this time. And look, it's not a practice many people probably do. So
I don't see the tread being deep enough to be able to do it sufficiently without ruining the integrity of the tire.
So the Dunlop homologulated tyre list is available at www.aftn.com.au. The tyre supplier reserves the right to change the tyre type and compound specified. Competitors found to have the incorrect tyres fitted may be disqualified from the applicable session or round. So make sure you do read those documents. We know it's a Dunlop DT4, but I would be going onto the site and looking at that list to make sure it's not compound specific, because there are a couple of different compounds. And look, on that, most of our Australian tracks, I would be saying you want to go for the softest one possible. You're all required to display a Dunlop logo on your machine. That's interesting. Not sure if they're supplying that for you. Dave's number, by the way, so the promoter's number is at the top of this document if you need to ask them questions. I don't know if you
Pro
noticed at the
450
start
place
of this
getters will be required to wear a Dunlop, wear a provided Dunlop podium cap at podium presentations.
Yeah, cool.
Right.
I like that. I think that's cool.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, okay. No, I'm not going to say anything. Keep going.
No, say it. What?
Well, I was just saying, if you've got other tire sponsors, you may not be using those tires for an event, but if you've got other tire sponsors that are paying you money to promote their brand, maybe not using their product, but promote their brand, is that going to be a conflict of interest?
Yeah, I probably would mention that you're racing the Aftn and that Dunlop are the control tire.
Right.
So yeah, all the normal stuff. Peg your pit shades down so they don't go flying across in the big gusty winds we sometimes get.
Yeah.
Electrical power. There will be somewhere in about electric motorcycles, I'm sure. Yeah, flake. Oh my goodness. Yeah, there's quite a bit in there. Anti-doping. If you're going to get massively stoned, just make sure you do it months before the event. Stay on good behavior. Good behavior. Code of behavior. Stay in good behavior would be my suggestion. Fire extinguishers. All competitors should have a minimum 2 kilo dry powder. So that's class E, working fire extinguishers in their pit area. What is powder for, Tom? What's the powder extinguishers for?
Poured out fires.
But you're right, but
Electrical fires.
yeah, and fuel. You can usually use them on fuel.
Yeah,
because water ain't gonna do shit.
Yeah, it'll make it interesting.
No thongs, unless
So
you're putting out the fire.
Sorry, if anyone runs an electric bike, are they still restricting it to 60 horsepower or?
I did skip through. I don't think there's anything covering electric bikes here. Electrical power, pit allocation. Yeah, no. Yeah, no. Yeah, nah. There's a whole website called Yeah,
Sure, there is, buddy.
Yeah, Racing.
Yeah, racing.
Special notes and warning: no thongs, no open shoes in pit area, no alcohol in the pit area, riding on motorcycles, nah, no smoking, nah, no pushies, scooters, skateboards, nah, no animals, unless you're an assistant dog. And that is page 16 of 16. So there you go. That's a little brief over for you all.
One sec. Go back to the fuel just to make sure.
Fuel?
Yeah, keep going.
I didn't stop at the fuel.
Yeah, you're
doping. No more than 100 RON. No additives other than those added at the point of manufacture, except for lubricating oils and two strokes, be readily available in Australia and comply with the fuel quality standards. Be a brand of fuel homologated by EMA. So that was points 1 to 4. Fuel for all machines, unless otherwise specified, must be unleaded. Fuel available on demand from a Bowser at 5 separate service stations in any 5 Australian states and territories. Well, I'm pretty sure most of the fuel I've seen used at the rounds won't be fitting in that, and you can say shut up all you want from the side of your computer or radio, but yeah, we just read it there. You are meant to be using fuel from a Bowser. Yeah.
So what about like ETS fuel and VP and all that stuff that aren't from a servo?
Well, what did I just read out, mate?
You said that you can only use fuel from a Bowser.
So does that answer the question?
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair enough.
The only thing that might undo that is it says the comply. Sorry, where was it?
Because I dare say a lot of
Comply. Oh no,
motors are running tunes
I'm
that
sure I saw something about it. Fuel machine otherwise specified must be unleadable demand for state territory, no more than certain additives. That's two strokers be readily available in Australia. Comply with the Fuel Quality Standard Act 2000. Be a brand of fuel homologate. That's the bit that I was thinking. So 33.3. Be a brand of fuel homologated by MA. So you'll have to go to GCR, general competition rules, and check in there as well if there's a race fuel you can use. But that would be only out to using race fuels. Otherwise, it's saying here quite clearly in ink that it's got to be available from 5 service stations.
yeah,
So,
or be a brand of fuel homologated by MA. So you go on the MA website and find out what brands they are allowing.
Yeah, and so that might be like Cheetah and VP race fuels, but I can't tell you without looking at that list. Sorry, and I haven't had a look at the MA rules this year, so that might be another pod. All righty. Well, thanks so much. If you're still hanging in there with us, thanks so much for that. There is a lot more in there that you can read yourself. We did skim over some bits that I deem not too interesting just at the moment. But yeah, with all this sort of stuff, it does pay to read it and read it a couple of times, because every time you go back over it, you might pick something else up that you didn't see before. But, not too many big changes there. Obviously, the clubman, woman, and twins chop and changing around at the rounds there. Make sure you know what round you're at so you don't turn up to the wrong one. Other than that, I think it's going to be a fantastic season, Tom. And really looking forward to seeing how it all pans out for another year of Aftn, flat track racing in Australia.
No, it should be good. I'm 99% sure I'll be at every single round.
Awesome.
Darcy will be at 3, 4, and 5. Hopefully he comes to 6, 7 as well. But
I'm still planning on going to Gunnedah. I do have some other things that may stop me riding it. But I am sort of thinking I might be riding a single. So
here we go.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how the Netherlands go. We had a test day the other day, which we'll talk about on the pod, on the next pod. And look, I felt pretty shit about it, actually, to be honest. But then at the end of the day, I saw some footage and I thought actually it wasn't that bad. But it's I definitely am finding I am not a sort of oil track person, but it's just lack of time on oil tracks and that sort of surface. So I think, the more time I can spend on those sort of surfaces, the better I'm going to get, which is sort of how things work. So hopefully, can make a bit of that happen. But I do feel like I'm slow. Feel like I'm going backwards on the motorcycle. Like I don't know if it's an age thing or if it's an attitude, mental thing. I think it's quite a mental thing because I know I'm physically fit. I think it's a lot of mental shit playing in there. And plus, with the workload I've taken on, it's just getting more and more difficult to focus. If I'm going to be a racer, I want to be successful at it, and that takes a lot of work. At the moment, I just not dedicating to that. So I think I might be the occasional race and practice and test days and just go for a leg over so I still can experience that sensation. So but yeah, what we're gonna be talking about the Victorian Flat Track, which we just launched the Facebook page yesterday. And that I can already see it's going to take up quite a bit of time, at least for 12 months, while we're getting it dialed in. And obviously, with the Aftn, realistically, it's going to be more like 3 to 5 years. But thanks to Dave and the crew, because being able to watch what they're doing has helped giving me ideas too, and it's going to be quite different. So, it's still flat track, but yeah, just different. And I hope that everyone's going to love it. So, yeah. But this year, let's keep focused on the Aftn and help growing that, and Australian flat track. Keep it going, guys, and it's great to see everyone embracing 19s and 17s, and the numbers are really growing. I went to round 2 of the Albury Club Champs, who are hosting a 19-inch round. Sorry, 19. Oh, they are hosting a 19-inch round at Aftn, but they also have a 19-inch class in their Club Champs, and there was a few new 19s in there, a few guys that they've obviously been planning to get them on their bikes for a while and just hadn't made it happen, but now have. So more people joining the ranks, which is fantastic to see. So yeah, good on Albury for having that class, because it gives guys track time at their track, which is going to be an Aftn venue. So that's awesome. But yeah, Tom, if I don't talk to you in the very, very near future, have a great time at Canberra with the juniors. Good luck to all those junior races as well. And yeah, I'm not sure. I dare say this one will be released after that. But yeah, you know what to do, guys. Flog that like button, keep it sideways. And what do we do, Tom?
Go flat tracker.
Certainly do. Shit, you had to think about that one.
Yeah, I didn't know if I was meant to be flogging that like button or go flat tracking. Either way,
you can flog it. All
well,
right,
have a great trip over in the Netherlands. I believe you're leaving sometime soon.
Sunday night.
You're leaving on Sunday night, so yeah, Darcy will be going over there and making an absolute nuisance of himself. So have an awesome trip there, and yeah, can't wait to hear about it. I wouldn't mind actually doing a pod with you guys and the Netherlands boys and something like that. But I'm sure we'll do an Aussie Junior Track Championship podcast as soon as Darcy gets back. If not, we might be able to do it while he's over there, depending what availability he's got. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we'll see how it all unravels. I'm not going to know until I'm there, and I actually don't even know what time this thing starts, and that's I know it's a TT track, so that's pretty cool, and I know it's behind a Kawasaki store. It's not actually a permanent track. It's made behind a Kawasaki store. So it sounds really interesting. Awesome. And I was told there's going to be lots of good beer and food. So that's all you need. What more do you need? It's going to be
come back fat and addicted to beer.
Yeah, I'll be ready to swing on a sidecar. Put it that way.
There you go. Now you got some sense in your brain.
Righty ho. For the second time, flog that like button. Go flat tracker.
Go flat tracker. Go flat tracker. Go, go.